Hello and welcome to another video introducing you to the features of the Gamepad Navigator. Check out the introduction video linked in the description if you need more background on what the Gamepad Navigator is or does. In this video, I will show you how you can use the Gamepad Navigator to control multiple windows and tabs. On the bottom of the screen, you can see an on-screen representation of my gamepad, which will highlight buttons and move sticks to show you what I'm doing. Here we are on the home page for the Fluid project, which is the community that created much of the software the Gamepad Navigator uses. The most basic way to navigate between pages is to click a link. As we covered in the video on navigating within a page, we can use the bumpers to move focus between links, as I'm doing now. And you see now that there's a skip to content link. I will click that using the bottom button in the right-hand cluster of buttons, which is the click button by default. Now I'm focused on the main body of the page, and I'll continue using the bumpers to navigate to the link I want to visit. So that's the most basic way to navigate between pages. For everything else, we're going to take a look at the new Action Launcher, which we can use to access many of the other actions that we could ordinarily bind to a button, but we don't have to because they're all available in one menu. And that menu is available using the Start button by default. And you see, here is a list of actions that we could perform. I'm going to pick, using my D-pad, I'm going to pick Open a New Window. And again, I'll click that using the click button. Now I have two windows open. I can switch between windows using the Action Launcher. And this does wrap around. If I had 10 of them, you'd see it would go in a ring. Because I have two, there's not much difference of whether I choose previous or next. I can also close a window using the Action Launcher. Now I have one window left. So I'm going to show you another command from the previous video just to make it a little easier to see what we're doing. So now let's look at the same thing but for tabs. So I could open a tab, but instead of opening a new tab, what I'm going to do instead is duplicate the current tab. And I wanted to demonstrate this to you because it's very useful if you have navigated down to a certain point on a site and then want to keep the point you've reached but also go back to a previous page. You can use the duplicate tab feature in combination with history. I'll show you right now. Oh, I must have scrolled past it. Now you can see I have the Fluid project homepage open, and I also have the video player demo. And as with Windows, I can switch between tabs using the Action Launcher. So you also might know what site you want to go to, or maybe you know something about it and you want to search for it. By default, the Select button is bound to our new search feature, and we can search for items using the D-pad to navigate the keys and using the click button to enter text and then using the bumpers to switch to the controls. So I'm going to be using the D-pad right now. I'm going to show you a page that I use often to test gamepads. If you're having trouble using the Gamepad Navigator at all, the first thing to do is to test your gamepad, and I like to use one called the HTML5 Gamepad Tester. Oop, I'll show you how to use the backspace. I hit the wrong key. The backspace actually does work. Okay, now if I use the bumpers, I can navigate to the search button, and there we go. I've been there many times, so The first link is the one we want. There's a few others that have ads and things. I like this one. Seems like our focus isn't showing up, but let's see. Yes. I was able to tell what I was focused on by using the location bar in the lower left corner. Anyway, if I move my controller, you can see two things. First of all, the on-screen representation moves just like my controller moves. But the other thing you can see is that the plugin is still active. The Gamepad Navigator is still trying to help you scroll in this case. So even though the Gamepad tester can also see that the controller is working, it's still controllable using the Gamepad Navigator. So this page is very useful for figuring out which buttons you're using. A lot of these are bound to things, but I'll hit one that's not bound to anything. And I can see that the trigger, right trigger, is button 7, and the left trigger is button 6. So when I want to assign something new to those, I can see which buttons I'm working with. This is very helpful, particularly if you have an older or non-standard controller that doesn't really look like an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller or a Stadia controller as I have now. So I want to go back to that video window and show you a few things that you can do with the size of the window. We already saw maximizing the window. Let's close this tab. And we'll close this tab. And we maximized this window earlier. We can also restore it to its previous position. We can maximize it. We can also enter full screen mode. And then we can exit full screen mode. This is particularly useful when you're viewing videos, which we'll cover in another video on operating video elements. So I hope that this has been helpful to you. That has been our demo on using multiple windows and tabs with the Gamepad Navigator. Check out our other videos for more information about navigating within a page, configuring your settings, and much more.